Hey, this is Phil from Hope Frontier, and I'm happy you're with me today. We're going to continue looking at the different names of God, and today we're going to look into a very seldom used name of God, but one that is important because it does shape how we view God in his strength, power, and omnipotence. So, the word we're going to look at today is El Roi. And this word means the God who sees. And that's it. There's only really one translation for this, the God who can see. And this is important because the way that we can look at this is that there are no circumstances in our lives that escape God's awareness and care. God knows us, and he knows our troubles, and he can see through every situation that you're in. There is nothing in your life that God doesn't know about. There's nothing in your life that escapes his attention, and there's nothing that he doesn't care about. Now, an important thing to say about this word is that just because God sees and cares doesn't mean that he is always going to act. And this is really one of the difficult points that a lot of people have in their relationship with God. They assume that since God cares about me, he must act in every circumstance. But that is not how it happens. And actually, if you look at humanity, if we live that way, we're actually going to cause a lot of developmental problems for people's personal growth as they go through their lives. For example, if you have a child and that child never goes through anything challenging, they're going to be very weak, have no skills, and actually have a very difficult time maneuvering through life. Children need to go through challenges so they can gain skills, gain strength, and can actually do more than they ever thought they could do before. Now, I'm not saying this is always pleasant. A lot of times, and heck, most of the time, it is very difficult for us to go through life's challenges. But God does care and does act and intervene. We only see the ways that God has intervened in our lives. And a lot of times we don't even know how he actually intervened in our lives because we don't know what's happening in the spiritual world. There could be thousands and countless of times that God has acted in your life to stop you from having a worse experience than you had, but you would never have known because it didn't happen. So let's take a look and see where this word comes from. And this is in Genesis chapter 16. And this actually happens to Hagar. Hagar is the one who uses this word to describe God. If you remember, Abraham got Hagar pregnant, and Sarah got very jealous and treated her very poorly and kicked her out into the wilderness. So she was going to die of starvation and thirst in the wilderness. And don't forget, this was Abraham, okay? God's chosen vessel. And he just kicks out this poor woman and has her basically die in the wilderness. But God saw her and wanted to provide because of her need. And this is what it says in verse 13. Therefore, Hagar used another name to refer to the Lord, who had spoken to her. She said, "You are El Roi." She also said, "Have I truly seen the one who sees me?" So that well was named Be'er Lahai Roi, which means well of the living one who sees me. So Hagar had realized that she was in need and was dying, but God miraculously rescued her from her situation and provided life and made her sons into a mighty nation. The next verse we're going to take a look at doesn't specifically use the word El Roi, but it does give a great picture of the meaning of this word. This is in Psalm 139, verses 7 through 12. So here's what it says, and just get the picture because this word that Hagar used, El Roi, really helps shape our view of God and how he interacts with us. It says this in verse 7. "I can never escape from your spirit. I can never get away from your presence. If I go up to heaven, you are there. If I go down to Sheol, you are there. If I ride the wings of the morning, if I dwell by the farthest oceans, even there your hand will guide me, and your strength will support me. I could ask the darkness to hide me, and the light around me to become night. But even in darkness I cannot hide from you. To you the night shines as bright as day. Darkness and light are the same to you. So we can see here that this psalmist really captures this picture of El Roi, that no matter the darkness we're in, no matter the challenges we face, God does see us. We can never hide from God. So we have to be encouraged, because when you think that you're all alone, when you think that no one can understand your situation, God does. He sees you and cares, and He wants to provide help for you so you can be joyful and see success in your situation. Just realize that your definition of success does not mean that's God's definition of success. So we just have to rearrange what we think is best and trust that God has the best for us. Because in the end, when the parent takes care of the child and shows true care by helping them become the best they can be, we have to understand that when God sees us, He is allowing things to happen to us, but He can use it for the benefit of His kingdom in the end. So, no matter what's happening to you, take heart and be encouraged, for God sees you and cares for you in your dire situation.